2012, c'est le 19e festival de Verbier, festival que vous avez créé, qui est votre initiative, qui est votre enfant en somme, que vous avez créé dans un endroit, disons-le, un peu impossible quand même, au bout de la route, au fond des montagnes du Valais, mais dans un paysage magnifique.
Yes, this is our 19th season, 19 beautiful years. We started in 1994. I discovered Verbier through skiing. I was there already when we came to Switzerland in 1987, and we rented a chalet and with the children went skiing. And it was only in 1990 where I stayed with some friends, Avi Shoshani from Israel notably, and we discovered this fantastic station village which had wonderful hotels and some fantastic restaurants and hardly anything to do except walking and playing tennis and perhaps golf. And the idea came to, why don't we create a performing arts community here? Why don't we create a festival with our friends? It's inviting, a very inviting place. And so it took a while. In 1994, the first concert was with Zubin Mehta and the young German violinist David Garrett.
Alors c'est un lieu très particulier par son ambiance. Il y a la beauté du paysage qui est sublime, il y a ce mélange de générations, les jeunes, les moins jeunes. C'est un lieu de plaisir, c'est un lieu, oui, très, très décontracté. Mais en même temps, c'est un lieu de travail. Et c'est un lieu, je crois que le mot a beaucoup de sens pour vous, Martin Engstroem, c'est un lieu de transmission.
This is more how would I say, a performing arts community where you mingle, where artists mingle in between them, where young students who are there to learn in the academy or in the orchestras get advice from their peers, where the public can go into rehearsals, go into master classes, go into orchestra rehearsals, chamber music rehearsals. Everything is open, and there's a dialogue between old and the young, between the ones who've made it and the ones who want to get there, between the curious. It's a real community, and that's what gives the whole thing such an energy. There are many particularities, artistic particularities with the festival. I think the first one to mention is the challenge I try to give the artists to go out of their comfort zone with repertoire. When they go up on stage, I try to initiate a new encounter. They should either play with artists, colleagues they've never worked with before, or perform a work they have never performed before. It's one or the other. And so that every time they go up on stage, there's this sense of risk-taking. We don't have any touring programs. We don't have any set programs. And so every concert is unique just for us, just for Verbier. If the public wants to hear that combination, it will only happen once. I have the feeling that in Verbier, these very great personalities, they open up in a different way than elsewhere. And having the element of youth behind gives us support and an energy which I think is also unique. The fact that when you go on the stage and when you give a concert, you have so many artists in the auditorium which know exactly what you're doing and supports you is also something unique. So there are many elements at the festival which are unique, and I think the public is discovering this more and more.
On pourrait peut-être, Martin Engstroem, donner l'exemple d'une de ces rencontres inédites, donner quelques noms de musiciens qui se rassemblent, et puis aussi donner l'exemple de ces répertoires inhabituels que vous aimez bien mettre en valeur, ou inventer.
The encounter I'm the most proud of, I think, is between Menahem Pressler and Christophe Prégardien. Menahem Pressler is, how would I say, a sacred monster. He has been around for almost 90 years. Has, as a pianist, done almost everything, but he's never accompanied a singer, and he has never played Schubert's Winterreise. And when I asked him if he would do so, he said, "No one has ever asked me that before." And I think this will be a very special concert for him. It will be a very special concert for the public, for Christophe Prégardien, and to inspire somebody with that age and with that experience and on that level with something he's never done before gives us at the festival, of course, lots of satisfaction. There are many encounters like that which has inspired some great artists, and I think that's where the Verbier Festival has found its path.
Et puis ce concert du 22 juillet qui sera consacré, qui tournera autour des musiciens de Therésine, de Theresienstadt.
Yeah, the concert around Theresienstadt, or Theresienstadt as a theme, is a tribute to those composers who perished during the war, and especially in German concentration camps. And Daniel Hope, who is somebody I esteem a lot, has made quite a lot of research on those composers. In German you call it Entartete Musik, or in, I don't know what the English term is, but it's a group of composers who actually died at the camp. And we have put together a program with lots of small pieces also, short pieces, but I think a very beautiful mixture of programs, and each of these pieces are very moving, very touching. But so I'm very much looking forward to how the whole evening will take shape.
Alors vous aimez proposer des choses un peu exceptionnelles aux spectateurs de Verbier. L'année dernière, on a eu un Sacre du Printemps dansé par exemple par le Béjar Ballet Lausanne. Et puis il y a 2 ou 3 ans, il y a eu un Don Giovanni mémorable avec Winterfell et René Pape, entre autres. Donc l'idée s'est poursuivie de proposer un opéra chaque année. L'année dernière c'était Tosca, si j'ai bonne mémoire. Cette année il y aura 2 opéras, parce que c'est un peu toujours plus Verbier. Cette année il y aura Les Noces de Figaro et puis il y aura Péléas et Mélisande.
The average stay of the public is around 6 days, I would say. And we have even a big chunk of our public who stays the entire 17 days of the festival. So my job is to not to bore them, finally. I have to challenge them. I have to make programs which are interesting, and that takes me on all different kinds of trips. One is the non-classical, and I always try to have some concerts there which are touching the classical world, but not quite. We have Anushka Shankar there this summer, who's coming back to the festival. We have Robbie Lakatos, the great gypsy violinist. We have this year also the group Pink Martini, who plays Cuban music, plus. So it's to break the everyday music. And then we have, since a couple of years, we do operas. With the big symphony orchestra this year, we're doing Péléas and Mélisande, which I particularly look forward to, because it's not easy to put together, not for the orchestra, not for the conductor, and to do this without staging is quite a challenge. I think we have the absolute 4 best singers one could wish: Magdalena Koschena and Stéphane Degout and José Van Damme and Willard White. So I think artistically this will be a very satisfying performance. A couple of days before, we're doing Figaro, The Marriage of Figaro, with a chamber orchestra and with a young cast of singers who each of them are on their brink of breaking to to a major career. So I'm looking forward to that too. In fact, I'm looking forward to most of the concerts we are doing this summer.
Verbier, c'est aussi un endroit où on voit des jeunes musiciens choisis par vous, Martin Engstroem, on les voit grandir, on les voit évoluer. Je pense à Yuya Wang, je pense à Khatia Ounatishvili et Retchen, par exemple, également des jeunes, mais qui sont en train de devenir des grandes stars internationales et qui ont débuté là pour certains.
What I try to do in Verbier is to identify young budding talents, those who will make it all the way to the top, and try to have them when they're in the beginning of their career and then follow them with a year, because I think the public is very interested in that. They want to see, they want to discover, and they want to follow, and they want to say that they were there in the beginning. So we have lots of cases of artists who were there before they were famous. Anna Netrebko, Lang Lang, Misha Brugger-Gossman, Renaud Capuçon, who was even in the academy. The concept of the festival is to discover. When you are, as a public, coming to Verbier, you will discover young talents, you will discover rehearsals, you will discover the process how a concert comes together, you will discover people you perhaps don't know, you'll discover works you perhaps are not familiar with. So it's a trip of discovery.
L'Académie, c'est quelque chose de très particulier. C'est un endroit de formation avancée pour des musiciens qui sont déjà de vrais musiciens constitués, mais qui peuvent travailler un petit peu plus, aller un petit peu plus loin.
I would say the ticket of entry to the Academy is very difficult to get. There are hundreds who try to get into each category, but we only pick 8 pianists or 8 violinists, etc. But those 8 ones who are chosen, we take extremely well care of. We try to invite them to our network. We try to promote them. If they need financial assistance, we try to help them. We try even to follow their development during the year. So I think we have created a family in the Academy which is pretty unique and I would say pretty beautiful.
Il y a 2 orchestres qui sont peut-être le cœur du festival. Cet orchestre de jeunes venus de combien de pays, je ne sais plus, vous le savez sans doute mieux que moi, et qu'on voit toute la journée aller d'un lieu de concert et de répétition à l'autre, qui sont peut-être l'âme du festival, cet esprit de jeunesse. Et puis il y a l'orchestre de chambre, un petit peu moins jeune. Quand on a été dans l'orchestre de jeunes, on passe ensuite à l'orchestre de chambre. Et puis il y a aussi les jeunes musiciens. Restons sur ce thème de la jeunesse. Ces jeunes solistes, Yann Lisinski par exemple, qui est un adolescent pratiquement, ou Darin Trifonov, qui est votre découverte.
We've always had a youth orchestra as orchestra in resident in Verbier. The first couple of years we had invited orchestras, and then from year 2000 we had the opportunity to create our own orchestra with James Levine as music director, which was absolutely a gift from heaven to have him. And then we have created a couple of years ago the Verbier Festival Chamber Orchestra, which is the alumni from the big orchestra. You cannot be a member of the chamber orchestra if you haven't already played in the big orchestra, symphonic orchestra. And with this chamber orchestra we try to develop different kind of repertoire and with a different profile of conductors. So this summer we will have Mark Minkowski, who is coming back, for instance. We'll have Masaki Suzuki. We will have of course Gabor Takac, who is the music director, electrifying music director, and Paul McCreesh, who's going to conduct the Marriage of Figaro. So it's a very interesting group of musicians in the chamber orchestra, because they all now have different positions in the Vienna Philharmonic, in the Israel Philharmonic, in the Berlin Philharmonic, and so they don't really need to be in Verbier in the summers in the chamber orchestra, because they're all on a very, very high level, but they have been together since they were teenagers almost. So coming back to and playing together is a pure joy for them, and of course for the public also.
Et Katia Bounatishvili, qui est une pianiste célébrée partout maintenant, a commencé à Verbier comme pianiste dans l'orchestre.
Well, we have many examples of young musicians who have come to Verbier either in the academy or in the orchestra, or like Katia Bounatishvili, who came to Verbier when she was 16 years old, and by coincidence we needed a pianist for, I think it was a Shostakovich symphony, I think it was Kurt Masur conducting, so we asked her if she could play in the orchestra the piano for Shostakovich symphony, and she said yes, no problem. And so she stayed with us that summer and came back the following summer, and now of course she's having a spectacular career, and the transformation of this young girl to what she is today is absolutely beautiful. But we have lots of examples of also musicians who have been in the academy. Renaud Capuçon in 1995, who came to work with Isaac Stern, who is now one of the greatest violinists with a beautiful career. Misha Brugger-Gossman. The list is pretty long of artists who came to Verbier to work and now are having a big career, but also following the idea of developing talent. This summer we have Danil Trifonov, who is coming to Verbier. He's 20 years old and somebody I believe in very, very strongly. I love his playing, I adore his playing. I think he's somebody who has a definite message, and I look forward almost to every concert he's doing. I look forward to every concert he's doing. It's I think I've heard 3-4 concerts with him the last few months. We have Jan Lisiecki, a young Canadian pianist who came shortly last year for a recital and who's staying a little bit longer this time, playing a recital again, but also chamber music. Very young, and who I believe will do a beautiful career. Big talent, very big talent. The list is long, but I think, and I'm addressing myself to the public, you really have to come to Verbier to believe what's going on there and the amount of talent which is at hand.
Alors, si on est loin, on peut quand même regarder un peu le Festival de Verbier avec Medici TV, on peut regarder ça sur Internet. Le mieux, c'est quand même de venir participer, de pouvoir aller à une masterclass à 9h30, un concert à 11h, à une autre masterclass en début d'après-midi, à un concert dans l'après-midi peut-être, celui du soir évidemment, et il y aura un concert encore, 2 concerts le soir, plus un troisième, un dernier à 11h du soir, toute la journée, du lever du soleil au coucher du soleil pratiquement, hein, ou à la nuit.
5 years ago, we were lucky to be approached by a company called Medici to stream our concerts from Verbier on the internet. We started developing a relationship with them in filming all the concerts, morning concerts and afternoon concerts on the web. And this is our 5th year. Last summer we had 1.5 million people who watched 15 minutes or more of any concerts, and that's quite incredible. I think we were the first ones to offer the streaming from the streaming for free, especially from a festival. Now there are lots of other institutions who are doing the same thing, but it gives the access to lots of people out there to what we're doing. I don't think it has an influence on the ticket sales. I don't think we have more or less public physically in Verbier, but it gives certainly our artists a much wider audience to think that every concert which is being played has a potential of 30,000 viewers instead of only 500 as in the church or 1,800 in the tent. So it's very exciting, the streaming, and it's something which gives a lot of energy to the project.
Martin Engstroem, quand vous avez créé ce festival un peu fou il y a 19 ans, est-ce que vous aviez dans l'esprit que ça pourrait devenir cette chose assez énorme, que c'est devenu énorme et en même temps restant intime? C'est ça qui est assez réussi d'ailleurs.
I think when you are passionate about something, you don't think. In the world of culture in general, I think there has always been one passionate person behind every new museum or orchestra or festival. There has to be someone who's the passionate driver, who doesn't look at the bottom line, who doesn't look at the politics, who doesn't look at the will it work or will it not work, but just goes through the walls and tries to get everybody around you on the same path. And I wouldn't like to do it again. I don't think I could do it again. But I knew what I wanted, and I believed very strongly that it would be possible. I had a concept, and I think this concept is what we have today. So I'm very happy now seeing that this is a festival which is well and alive and has its own personality, and I hope it will last forever.